Hey everybody, how you doing? Welcome back to my YouTube channel, my little YouTube channel. I hope you're good, hope you're well, and it's crazy out there at the moment. Some crazy stuff happening. But uh, thank you for joining me here on my channel. This will be, I believe, my 100th video. It's only taken me about 8 years to get there, but yeah, 100 videos. This will be the 100th video. So I thought this would be a good little way to, you've probably seen this before, but this is, I can talk about it now because it's out, but you've seen me playing it. You know, if you've been watching the channel, you know that this is my, my signature guitar that has now been released out to the public. I believe a few have sold already, but this is my very own signature instrument, which I am very honoured to have. It is in conjunction with Patrick James Eggle guitars and Sun Bear pickups. So it's now, you know, it's now out in the wild. I've been gigging with it for a while and been using it in the studio on sessions, but I thought I'd just talk about it in this video today. The origins of it, how it came about, and you know, I can sort of talk you through the spec on it for anyone that's interested. So how this came about was I was having a conversation with Patrick Eggle because I had got I got hold of another one of his guitars, this one actually, where is it? This one, which I believe is the what's it called? It's the Oz, I think. I'm not sure, but I got hold of this guitar a while back, probably, you know, a year and a bit ago, maybe 2 years ago, and I loved it. It was very cool. I was just in a shop, loved the guitar, and I needed something that would fill that space in my little guitar arsenal. So I've been playing that for a while, and we then, you know, Patrick and I had a little chat, and then, you know, the subject come up, you know, about doing a signature instrument, which, you know, what would I be looking for in that? So I'm kind of known for playing live and in the studio. I've been playing Strat instruments for a very long time. That's been my main style of guitar for a long time, even though I've got lots of other guitars. The Strat is kind of something I play a lot. And my main Strat that I've had for well over 30 years, you've seen it on here, it's my JV Squire. Now, that guitar in particular has got a certain thing about it that I have never been able to find in any other Strat style guitar. Doesn't mean I haven't liked other Strat guitars. You know, I've owned a Sir, I've got a Silver Sky, which is amazing, which I love still. I've owned various other custom shop Strats, loads of other Strats, Tokais, but this particular JV Squire, where is it? I don't know where it is. It's in a case somewhere, but it's got a certain tonal quality to it that I'm just drawn to. If I don't play it for a while, I find that when I do eventually pick it up again, it's just, you know, I stick to it and start gigging with it and using it on sessions. But it's just got a certain warmth to it that I'm drawn to. So that's what, you know, what happened in the discussion. You know, I was saying that I'd like an instrument that could kind of replace that out on the road when I gig and stuff like that. You know, when I'm out playing or doing sessions, it's something that has got that broadness to it. I love Strats, but I do find that sometimes they're quite thin sounding, and they are immediately Strat-like, which is what you want. I know that's what you want out of that style of guitar, but they are immediately Strat-like, thin and spiky, and that's cool. But this, I'm always sort of looking for a slightly bigger sound out of a Strat. So that's what, you know, where the starting point was for this guitar. So I don't know my woods. I know what I like. You know, I know that I kind of like rosewood necks, rosewood boards. Although my JV has got a maple board, it's just a complete fluke of a guitar. But I do realise that a rosewood board gives a warmer tone. So we discussed the woods. You know, I sort of listened to Patrick talking about the wood choices that could give the most warmth. I'm completely clueless in that, but you know, we settled on using what was it we used? It's an alder body. So we looked for an alder. He had some alder laying around. I'm sure he had loads of it laying around. But alder, he said, would give me the warmth, but also the weight. It's not a particularly heavy guitar. I'm going to look at the spec on this because I don't know off the top of my head what it is. But the weight of this guitar is 3.18 kilograms. So I think that's around sort of, I don't know, 7 or 8 pounds. I'm not sure. But it's a very light instrument. It's based on the 96 shape that he already makes, because it's a, you know, it's a Strat style guitar, probably a little bit smaller in size than a Strat. It's got, you know, slightly narrower horns. The contouring, you know, it's just a very comfortable shape for me. But so that's the body shape we settled on, with an alder body. It's got a flame maple neck, which is very, very lovely. It's not the smallest neck. I think he says it's based on a very sort of loose V, but it's quite chunky. You know, there's something to get hold of, but not too big. It's not like a big baseball bat. Flame maple neck, I think is a roasted maple neck, but the flame on it is stunning. If you can see that, it's beautiful. And that, you know, that shape-wise, playability-wise, that's just made for a very, very lovely sort of feeling guitar for me. And it's quite dark. So I went for the Goto machine heads, which are locking for speed of you know, changing strings on gigs and in sessions, you know. And I also find that they really help the tuning when you're using the bar. It's an old sort of, you know, Fender style bridge with the rolled metal, 6 screws in it. That's just what I'm used to. That's what it had on the on my JV. It's got, you know, it's an old style Fender bridge. Then pickups wise, I was put in touch with, through Patrick, put in touch with the amazing Stuart Robson at Sun Bear Pickups, who I'd never met before, but you know, we had the discussion about, he came over here and heard me playing my JV, heard me playing some other guitars that I'm kind of drawn to. I'm very drawn to the DGT, my PRS DGTs that I have. They all have this slightly bigger sound. So I know the DGT has got humbuckers in it. You know, if you know that guitar, it's got double humbuckers. But I do tend to sort of lean towards warmer sounds. So Stuart went away. He listened to me playing, listened to me waffling on in this room for a good couple of hours. We had lots of coffee and cakes and egg sandwiches. And he then went away and listened to everything that I said and came up with this custom set, which I believe is called the Rob Harris custom set, which I do believe he sells. If anyone's interested in them, he does sell these pickups as a set. He makes them to order, but if anyone's interested, get in touch with Stuart at Sun Bear, or drop me a line and I'll put you in touch with him, and he'll rustle you up a set of these. No commission to me. It's just something he does, and you know, I'm sure he's willing to do that. He's a very busy man. But in these pickups, he's kind of got the warmth that I'm after, not too spiky. And I sort of went for a humbucker in the bridge, just because I very, very, very rarely use the bridge pickup as on a Strat as a tone. I just don't use it a lot. You know, I'm drawn, if I was soloing on that guitar, I tended to go towards the neck pickup on gigs for some reason with some dirt. But now, and also I would also use sort of roll the tone off on the guitar to give me that. If I was in the bridge pickup on the single coil, I would roll the tone back to get rid of some of that spiky bright top end that I don't particularly like. So that's why we went for a humbucker in the bridge. which he sort of listened to me playing another guitar. You know, I love playing my 335 on my DGT, and he kind of honed in on that sort of aspect of things for me. We talked about putting some switching on here to give this a coil tap, to split the pickup, but you know, because I don't like a lot of clutter on an instrument, I like it to be very easy to get around the sounds. I chose not to do that, and in discussion with Pat and I can't remember the name of the chap there that was working at Pat's place, but please forgive me if I've forgotten your name. But we sort of decided that in position 2, it would immediately go to a coil tap and the middle pickup. So I'm using, you know, I've got an instant coil tap in position 2. That's how I would use the guitar anyway. Rather than me switching to position 2 and then having to press a button or flick a switch, I just thought, just go straight there, and it's very simple to operate in that way. They put I think Dunlop super pots in here, which are 500k. Don't quote me on that. Which means without a treble bleed, because I like to roll the volume back on my guitar to get rid of the top end. If I show you what I mean. So here's my neck pickup, full up. So that's the tone full up on the guitar. I'm just going through my Princeton at the side here. I like rolling the tone back to about 6 or 7 and having the guitar volume on about 7 or 8. So that is how I would be using so that you can hear it's quite warm. If I put it up full, back to 8 or 9, 7 or 8 or 9. I know you get a drop in volume. Just really warm. There's no sort of sharp edges to it. But it, of course, I've got my tone back to about 7 or 8. But it means that I do have, if I just turn my volume up here, it means I've got variation in my tone, all here, right? And that's kind of how I like my guitars, so I can mess around with the tones rather than having to stomp on something all the time. I can get variations of tone out of the pickups themselves. So that's the neck pickup. Full up is there. Bridge. You can hear the spike in it, which is a great thing to have if you're doing a DI part or, you know, like that kind of 80s chorusy thing. Very sort of glassy. But if I roll it back, it's kind of something that I would use, right? It's very soft, very subtle changes in the tone, but full up. Still great, but it just means that I get to almost use the volume as a tone control. You don't lose too much volume in it, but it just means if I just sort of roll it back gently as I play a chord, just warms up to me, becomes more of a solid note and less of the spiky top end, which means, but I've still got that if I need it, okay? And that's why I didn't want the treble bleed, so I could keep it nice and, you know, I could sort of get that tonal contrast when I needed it, if that makes sense. Middle pickup. Pick up, very sort of chiming. Position 2, full up with a so that's the coil tap, humbucker, and the middle pickup. Immediately coil tap when I'm in position 2. So yeah, I love that. And then obviously backing off the volume. Yeah, it just takes off the top edge for me in a way I like. The bridge pickup, that's full humbucking, up full. And if I was to put a little bit of grit on and roll the volume back to sort of 7 or 8 and the tone back a bit. That's just, I'm putting a Vermurum Shanks on there, the ODS 1. But just means that the guitar, I'm constantly riding the volume control here, so I can sort of get different levels of grit. You know, it just means it's a much more sort of touch sensitive instrument. That is kind of what I'm used to. But yeah, and then with regards to the colouring, I've told this story before probably, but the very reason I ended up buying a JV Squire is because, you know, I'll make no secret, but I was a massive fan of the guitarist Alan Murphy back in the day, back in the early 80s. Alan Murphy was the session guitar player who played with Kate Bush and the band Go West. He played on lots of people's records, and he, you know, just sadly before he passed away, not sadly before he passed away, before he passed away, sadly, he was a member of the band Level 42. But he, when I first sort of saw him on TV, he was playing a JV Squire. I didn't know it at the time, but that's what it was. It was a Japanese vintage Squire guitar. And then when I, you know, one day I was in a music shop a long time ago and I saw one for sale and I thought, I've got to have one of those. So I bought it for about 140 quid. But it was in Guitarist magazine that I saw an interview with him, and he had a sort of an Olympic white JV Squire with a black scratch plate and white pickups. And that's what I thought, you know, in my discussions. I love solid colour guitars, you know, even though I do love a sunburst. That was how we came about the aesthetics of this guitar, because I was kind of having a little bit of a reminiscing sort of, you know, the JV connection. Well, I had the JV, and you know, it was a little bit of an homage to the great Alan Murphy. But yeah, so that is my signature guitar. They're out in, you know, they're out in shops, I believe, but I believe they're made to order. So if anyone's interested in one, get in touch with Patrick James Eggle, and he will rustle you up one of these beautiful instruments. It's a very playable guitar. Oh, the other thing was that, you know, it obviously got Patrick James Eggle Signature on the front. But I went for, I don't know if you can see this here, but I decided, rather than having my signature all over it, I decided to have just a little thing on the back saying Rob Harris Signature, because, you know, someone might not want my name on the front of a guitar. So I just thought, put it around the back, so at least, you know, at least you can see what it is if that's what you want. But it's a very usable guitar. I'm not, you know, I'm just sort of talking about how I use it. It's a really beautiful guitar. I feel very, very fortunate to have it. It doesn't mean that I'm not playing other guitars still. You know, I play this a lot. So, you know, I'm playing it all the time. I'm taking it out on gigs. But, you know, in my work, I have to play what's needed for the job. So, you know, I'm still playing my DGT, which I love. I still play the Fiore, still play my Silver Sky. I'm still playing my 335 and my Thin Line Telly. But this, you know, it's such an honor to have a guitar with my name on it that's kind of designed to the spec of what I'm after, you know. So yes, thank you for watching this video. And if you do ever come across one of these, or you'd be interested, I know that my mate Music Street down in Huntington, Tony, he's going to be getting another one in, because I think the one that he had has been sold. So they're, you know, I'm sure they're hoping they're going to sell loads, but I think if you were to try one, you would be very pleased. And it's a very, very finely built, lovely quality instrument. So thanks for watching the video. If you've got any questions, drop me a line at robsfunkandjunk@gmail.com. What's coming up for me? Oh, so yeah, I've just been in the studio the whole of last week with Jay and Matt. We've been working on the new Jamiroquai material, so that's going really well. What have I got this week? I'm at home, looking after the dogs, as my other half's going away for a couple of days. So I'm going to be at home, noodling around in the studio, perhaps get a bit of practice in. I don't know about you, but I get, if anyone else is there, I get proper music shop nerves. I don't mind admitting this. Whenever there's a camera on me and I'm filming myself and I have to play, all my playing completely goes out the window. I lose all confidence. On a gig, I'm fine. On a session, I'm fine. It's just whenever I point a camera at myself, I feel like everything I play sounds terrible. So I am going to be practicing a bit this week. I'm going to sit around and practice. I've got a gig on Thursday at my regular Langen's residency thing, which I'm looking forward to. And then I'm heading off to Turkey on Friday, I believe, for a little gig over there. But yeah, things are happening. It's all good. I've got my workshop over in Athens coming up. What is the date of that? Let me find the date of that. I will tell you the date. Where is it? Hang on, let me look at my calendar. This is so unprofessional. I'm in Athens on, I live in the 4th, so I've got a clinic on the 5th in Athens, and at a music store, I think, a studio, and then I'm doing a day of teaching in Athens as well. So I put a link to it on my Instagram, so if you want to check my Instagram, Rob Harris Guitar, it's up there if you're interested in coming along. And then I'm home for a week, and then I'm back. I'm off to, from the 14th to the 19th, I am away in Tuscany doing a BoomnTwang clinic workshop thing from the 13th to the 19th of October over in Tuscany. So there's also a link to that on my Instagram as well. So check that out if you're interested. I think there's a few spaces left. I think some more people signed up last week, but there are still a few spaces. Come and join us, drink lovely Italian wine and eat some lovely Italian food in the lovely Tuscan hills, and play guitar, and yeah, come and join us. It'd be great to see you there. But thanks for watching the video. Thank you for watching my 100th video. If you're watching this, 100 videos. Bloody hell, it took me ages to get 100 videos. But take care and stay well, and don't let the mad people get you down. All right, bye.